Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, and welcome to NerdTube. We are talking about The Boys, Season 3, Episode 7, something about candlelight. All right, I'm with Major Ray, Ginger Greek, and Cousin Cheeto. Before we start talking about this episode, for a play-by-play, let me know what you guys think of it individually. First of all, Major Rage.
I enjoyed this episode. It was a little breather, not as much action, but a lot of good plot and character development, and that bombshell at the end. My God,
Yeah.
just what a twist!
I was expecting a more mellower episode by comparison to what happened last week. So I wasn't surprised it ended up being like this. Probably another starter before the next main course, which will be next week. Ginger Greek, what have you got to add, mate?
Yeah, pretty much on the same wave as Mage. It definitely one of those that kind of needed to iron out a few more conflicts within the show. It didn't need to rely on the action as much, and it did it brilliantly. It was a slow burn, but a good slow burn, and the shock at the end was beautiful. But it was one of those. I said to a friend of mine that I bet you this is something similar. Something like this happens.
Yeah, the subplots in this episode were kind of minimal this week. Like we had one scene with Deep, one scene with fucking A Train. Everything else was mainly was Soldier Boy and his crew and Homelander. Cousin Cheeto, anything to add?
Listen, I can't deal with this shock bait bullshit anymore. Like, if you would have told me at the beginning of this episode or at the beginning of this season that Soldier Boy and Homelander were related, God fucking damn it! This is the biggest pile of bullshit I've ever heard in my entire life. Let's make it more controversial. Let's make them related. Oh, now you don't want to kill each other. Now they team up. You know what? Fuck this bullshit. They should have just came together and been like, hey, Butcher's a dick and Dewey's a wimp. Like, let's just kill him and then we can go at each other. It's so stupid. I am more vested in fucking Frenchie than I am with all this other bullshit going around. And what the fuck is going on with Noir? I can't, like, this cartoon animated bullshit in his brain or whatever. I don't like it. I can't deal with it. I told you guys I was done. I'm pretty much done. This episode by far probably was the stupidest bullshit I've ever seen in the boys' history of everything. Like, I really believe it, because just like, how can we cause more tension? Let's make Soldier Boy and Homelander related. Oh, now it's extra dire for our heroes. God fucking damn it. You know what? Stick a cactus up my ass and call me ready. I'm done.
You pussy.
Fucking hell, man. You sure not part of you just like, okay, I'm going to be the hater of this?
No,
no.
I sat.
No, it's all right. You need that dynamic, though. You need the dynamic.
I sat through this entire episode going, what the fuck? Like, why? Like,
someone needs to take my job when it comes to this,
I thought of a comparison. I would rather watch Obi-Wan Kenobi for the rest of eternity than watch The Boys all 3 seasons for the rest of eternity.
That would be your hell if that got the mind dude to hit you with his power.
For eternity, that would be my hell. That would be where
Lord.
they lock
the education system in your neck of the woods really needs upping, because this is
not original. This is not original.
This man a passport right now. Give him a fucking passport. All right.
Not original.
Is it? It's not original.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, like the twist was like, whoa, but it was like I did predict it, and I'm not happy about it. I'd be much more happier if they just teamed up. Just be like, what are we doing? We could just fucking rule 2 corners of the planet at this rate, kind of thing. So I'm with you on that bit, but it's still like in the context of this, it's like, okay, fine, let's see where they go.
I didn't mind it because it's different to the comics. As we know in the comics in Herogasm, Soldier Boy and fucking Homelander were fucking each other, and that'll be incestual if they did that now. So, but then again,
I wouldn't put it past the show.
Yeah.
I haven't even read the comic book.
It could be BS. It could be, somebody's playing them.
I mean, it could be mind. The mind guy could be lying.
No, I don't think so, because what we saw from Black Noir's bits regarding, putting Sing on the shelf, and they got a new guy, he can fly and stuff like that. I do feel this is genuine. But anyway, let's break it down. All right. So the boys, episode 7, we see Vought, basically Ashley, to be more precise. She does some damage control, which is kind of something I predicted from last week, that they would be doing this. There's some damage control regarding Starlight, by saying that she's a people trafficker and she's working with Kimiko. Huey speaks to the Legend, hoping to get some good information on Soldier Boy, but he just basically finds out that Soldier Boy is a bit of a fraud, and all the things he supposedly did, he didn't. Butcher comes in into the conversation, and he wants to get a move on. And then we see Soldier Boy trying to get hard in front of some Gannies and asking for some lube. I'm sure you like that scene. He says that these women are like fine wine, but the older they get, the drier they get. I'm fucking dying, man.
Yeah, that's another part of the episode. I was like, I mean, it didn't hurt. Like, it wasn't. It was typical boys shock value. Like, it's like, okay, so they're shocking us again.
It's not shocking. It's funny.
It's not
funny. Shocking.
To you, but it's
hilarious, man.
No,
I'm fucking hilarious.
It was not hilarious. I'm sitting there going, like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, dude, go away with this.
Look at the jokes. The older they get, the drier they get. Oh, come on, get in with the fucking humor, man. And the Legend's all pissed off that his fucking Egyptian cotton is tarnished. I mean, it's hilarious, man.
That was funny, but no, I was just like, keep going, just keep going.
All right, so Mindstorm is their next target. Mindstorm is a bipolar superhero, or he happens to be bipolar, and because of that, he comes out with the idea of like just researching on some chemist pharmacies regarding meds, and on top of that, Soldier Boy needs more weed. So Maeve is in some special Vought prison for soup. She notices that Homelander is concealing a shiner, and she's also happy to know that Homelander is scared. And the only reason Homelander is letting her live is that he can harvest her eggs so he can make perfect soups. And he's not letting her live; he's keeping her alive. Nice line, by the way. I like that very much.
Yeah, that was
because she's not literally living.
That was the foreshadowing part where I was just like, oh god. We're going to get some kind of reveal at the end, but it's again, it makes sense keeping her alive for that, and it just adds to like that's just a next level kind of fucking evil. It's like, bitch, we're just going to take your eggs, and then when we're done, we'll kill you.
Exactly. So
that actually makes sense. That tracked with me.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So Frenchie and Kimiko meet Mother's Milk and Starlight, basically saying that Butcher's everyone's problem, and they're there to help. Soldier Boy, Butcher, and Huey closed down on Mindstorm. Soldier Boy advises them not to look into Mindstorm's eyes. Huey also notices that Butcher is supplying Soldier Boy with lots of weed. It's because of Soldier Boy's PTSD. Better hide than angry. Huey comments Soldier Boy needing weed to, we're kind of feeling sorry for Soldier Boy, saying that he needs weed to compose himself. But Butcher and Huey are taking as Butcher and Huey take the V. But Butcher says ironically to Huey, what sad bastard takes drugs to self-medicate, kind of making Huey look at himself a little bit. Don't feel sorry for Soldier Boy. You're fucking self-medicating yourself, mate. So yeah, I like that. And we get into Black Noir's safe place. Now, considering Black Noir's had a chip in the past, I'm kind of surprised that if this is a place he goes to quite often or now and again, even without the chip, you would think Vought would know that he's there, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but, exactly.
Yeah. Regardless, he pours some beans into a moldy bowl and then starts hallucinating. And these cartoons are basically coming to life. It's a bit like a Chuck E. Cheese in America, but mixed with a bit of a Warner Brothers sort of style, so to speak, of cartoon characters, with this squirrel very much like a representation of Porky Pig. And it's basically Black Noir's mind basically telling him that he can't hide from Soldier Boy anymore. Back to Soldier Boy, he sets off a booby trap, and then we see Mindstorm appear, and he puts Butcher in an endless nightmare, and it's basically the trance, and he can't wake up from that trance, and he'll die of malnutrition, dehydration. The only way he can wake up, obviously, is through Mindstorm, who he wants to help Butcher, but Soldier Boy says leave him. They're bigger fish to fry, and basically, there's no chance of, as far as Soldier Boy is concerned, of Butcher coming back to life again or being revived. Because as soon as Soldier Boy sees Mindstorm, he's going to fucking kill him. So we see in Butcher's mind that he's we see in his youth and how his dad would beat him up and his younger brother up Lenny, and then we get back to Frenchie and he's gutted that he's missed Hirogasm and he seems dizzy as fuck. Starlight's trending he's tending to Kimiko, wounds, and they're having a little bit of a bonding session. They share whiskey. It's the first time Kimiko's had alcohol. She then begs Starlight to get her original Compound V so she can get her powers back. Soldier Boy rips on Huey for being concerned for Butcher. He mentions his record of achievement as a war hero. Huey retorts by saying Soldier Boy did not do any of that shit and calls his act of that of a Marlboro man silly, but then he gets slapped in the face before he's able to finish his quip. Deep wants to spice up his sex life with his wife and introduces an octopus called Ambrosia. Cassandra, who's Deep's wife, is grossed out when Ambrosia says she wants to eat Cassandra's pussy, or basically taste her, as he said. And Deep and Cassandra argue about Deep being where he is currently, and Deep does not need Cassandra, and then she obviously walks off. Anything to add so far before I continue?
Sorry, cutting my toenails is more impressive than this episode so far.
Yeah, you stick to chewing your nails, you fascist. I love like the paranoia of Soldier Boy. Obviously, so high.
Yeah, but he's smoking so much weed. Yeah, you say something.
Smoking so much weed, he's just having these paranoid moments, and you just think, "Oh God, where's this going to lead?"
Yeah, go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Just like it was like the Deep was just doing this to just get rid of his wife, because he's like, I'm back in the 7. I don't really need you, and I want to get back to my my sex life kind of thing. But yeah, my fishiality or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I like that bit that we finally just hopefully just put an end to the Deep's kind of stuff, because I never liked that bit at all. So I'm kind of glad. Like, I just hope that that's the end. We don't see her again, and we could just move on from that kind of story.
I personally think that this was one bestiality joke too many.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
I'm over it. It's
one.
No, it was all right. It was all right last week, when he got caught with a fucking octopus around his dick. But now he wants to fucking do threesomes with his wife with it. It's like, all right, I get it. He likes to fuck fucking, sea creatures. But all right, let's just.
But it's funny, right? It's all funny. Get with the humor.
Calm down, mate. Calm down. Like, even episodes we like, we can still be critical in certain parts. I'm just saying this.
He's got a point.
And regarding this particular scene, I think I would have preferred it much more if they just focused more on him and his wife and how they're not really gelling anymore and stuff like that.
I agree.
Ginger said he just needs to fucking. He wants to leave.
They should have gone with the arrogance angle where he's like, I don't need you anymore. That's what they should have done. I'm sorry, like with the
and the point. Sorry, to that point as well, they need to be careful now, because they're getting to the territory where they're going to start overdoing it.
Shock bait? They've been doing it.
It's just going to be like, okay, great. So you have to, once you've established that you've got your shocking moments, you don't need them at high volume anymore, because it's more like you more have the audience like, okay, when's it going to come? Not, in this episode, what they're going to do. It's more like, in this season, when are we going to get like a shocking moment and all this kind of stuff? And people are so invested in the characters now that you don't really need the kind of crazy shocking moment. So moving forward, they do have to toe a finer line here. I'm just glad that the Deep and his missus had the thing where they could finish off that part of the storyline, but I would have preferred it, what Jason said, if it was just more down like the arrogance route.
Regarding the Deep and A-Train, I'm just done with those characters. Like what? Like, and I know now they're trying to bring A-Train back, and it's like, for what?
That's a mistake.
Oh, look, we'll get to A-Train. We'll get to A-Train in a second. But going back to the Deep, I prefer Deep when he's just this like guy who's a bit out of no pun intended, a bit out of his depth, and he's an idiot, and he's much more interesting as that than fucking animals all the time. It was all right once or twice. But let's just play on who he is as a person. He's not that bright, and that's much more funnier. Anyway, back to Noir, and he sees the animated history of his past, and it seems that Soldier Boy stopped Black Noir from getting his lead role in Beverly Hills Cop. And then because Noir was pissed off about that, Soldier Boy teaches him a lesson and beats the fuck out of him. Back in Butcher's mind, we see young Billy beating up his teacher with a stapler and his dad being proud of it.
Just quickly, with Noir's moment, I would have much preferred it if it was a live action, just going back to the past and retelling. The animated stuff, it didn't do it for me. It did take me out of it. It would have been a much more heavy scene had they just gone back into the past and done it that way.
Go on.
And does anybody notice the parallels going on here, like between the current like 7, whatever number they are right now, and Soldier Boy's team? You know,
Payback.
like or Payback, yeah. Like, do you notice the parallels about how everybody's turning on Homelander? Everybody's, you know, like what happened to Soldier Boy is also happening to Homelander. And it's like, and now Soldier Boy.
History repeats itself.
But it makes sense. It does.
And
make
superheroes
sense.
In this world are dickheads. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe apart from Maven and Starlight, the majority of them all fucking dickheads. So anyway, where was I? So Soldier Boy and Huey runs into a priest and nun, and they need some help with their broken car. Soldier Boy pretends to help and then shoots the priest in the head. He said it's Mind Storm controlling them, and then the nun goes crazy, jumping on Huey, and Soldier Boy kills her too. Homelander gives a Trump-like speech to Trump supporters, like the gullible simpletons that they are, and then basically says that Starlight is a human trafficker, and then he thinks he sees Soldier Boy in the crowd, and it kind of throws him off his speech. Because of the speech happening in the farm, he ends up seeing a cow, and then he gets some pleasure from milking her and then drinking the milk. It's good to get a little callback from that because, you know, pretty much this season we haven't had much of that milk stuff regarding Homelander. So just a reminder of some of the things that do please him. Victoria Newman confronts Homelander about getting his shit together and blaming Soldier Boy, and also endorsing, blaming Soldier Boy for what's happening recently with the terrorist attacks and endorsing their puppet as president. And this kind of pisses off Homelander, and he chokes Newman. But just before he's finishing, I don't know if he was going to kill her or not, but Newman plays a trump card of her own and gives him a piece of paper, which makes him let her go. A-Train is recovering in hospital, and Ashley is there with a spin story. Apparently, Soldier Boy murdered Blue Hawk and A-Train and was supposed to save, and A-Train was supposed to save Blue Hawk, but he wasn't able to. And now A-Train has the heart of Blue Hawk, which is, I think, is brilliant because this guy, he was dying. He ends up killing the person who's an absolute racist, and now he's got a racist man's heart in his body, keeping him alive. It's fucking brilliant.
And that's why I think he should walk away at this point and be like, I'm never running again. I'm not using this heart for anything other than, like that. That's getting to the A-Train bit is that kind of frustrates me because I'm like, what Deep and A-Train are so just done with this story. Give them something else to do.
No, what it is, Gio, is that these people just don't learn. That's what it is, and that's what's so good because sometimes people have an arc and they learn, but they might you might think, okay, they're going to turn a corner here, but no, they just revert back to what they always were. They never fucking learn, and that's what's so interesting about it.
But that's the beauty of it is you're not getting like annoying redemption arcs. I mean, look what they did with like Reva, how they fucked that up in Kenobi.
Oh yes,
we don't want.
I don't want a redemption arc for A-Train. I just don't want him. I think he's done. Like
I think that they should have just let him die last week. It would have been perfectly in character for him to go out in a petty act of revenge. And I'm scared they're going to do some crap where he go. I was afraid they were going to have him go out by doing a noble sacrifice. At least they're not going down that route. But still, I feel like what's he got to add to the story anymore? What can they do with him?
I agree with that. He should have died off like last week for sure. All I'm saying is like I don't want original art for him. That I really don't. I hope it's still another like petty, selfish thing that he does. But let's wait and see.
Yeah, like
I'm in agreement.
The issue with his brother was personal. 100, you know, he wasn't trying to save some person who had their handbag stolen or something like that, or he heard a story about this lady who was killed by a soup and he wanted revenge for her. It was totally 100% personal.
Mhm.
And regarding what happened here is like, so let me just quickly finish saying what on here, and then I'll continue with what my thoughts. But he does get a new movie deal, and he's basically stereotyping, you know, black people to a degree. Like he's from the ghetto, and then he learns how to be a better person. And Tom Hanks is his trainer when it was his brother who was his fucking trainer. And actually also tells him that he wants him to start blaming Starlight for shit as well. So he's learned nothing. He's kind of reverted back to himself. He's got another chance at life, and he's just doing the same old fucking shit again. I think this is brilliant. You know, like this is much. I think this is much better than just having him die, you know, getting revenge for his brother. He got revenge for his brother, ended up getting the racist guy's heart, and he's still doing the same fucking shit. I think this is much better in my opinion.
I still think there's going to be something with him having Blue Hawk's heart. I really feel like they're still going to. He's going to struggle with having that guy's heart in his chest, because you even saw it when he was laying in the bed. He's like, oh, you know, just like the personal struggle there. And I mean, what, Newman, isn't that her name?
No, that's Ashley.
Or no, Ashley. And even Ashley said it in like the previous or 2 episodes ago or whatever it was, is that, you know how many times I've had to clean up your messes, and now what's happened to you, and now all of a sudden everybody has to deal with your bullshit, you know, like, or, you know, so it's just, I don't know. I think last week would have been a great way to close the door, as Mage said, on a petty, selfish sacrifice of his, you know, because I mean, yeah, A-Train's no better. Like, I mean, well, A-Train's not a racist, but still, he's still a shitty human being, and he killed Blue Hawk, who's also a shitty human being.
He put he might as well have paralyzed his brother. He put Blue Hawk in that room. There was no good ever going to come of that situation. That was always going to be a ticking time bomb.
Somebody at my door. 1 second.
No problem. Okay, so Frenchie realizes it wasn't gas that knocks out Soldier Boy in Russia. It was vapor of a Russian nerve agent. Now, this Russian nerve agent would more likely fuck most people up, but for someone like Soldier Boy, it would just put him to sleep. And Mother's Milk sees on Instagram that his daughter is with his ex-wife husband called Todd, and they are at Homelander's rally, and he heads off to confront Todd regarding this. Kimiko tells Frenchie that she will take Compound B again because she wants to be able to look after her family and doesn't want to risk, or family being the boys, that is, and doesn't want to risk losing people she loves after what happened with her in Russia. We see Starlight sneaking into Vought. Now, this is very Disney Plus like. She just happens to just able to put a cap on and boom, I'm in Vought and stuff like that.
She's Team Cap now.
Yeah, but she sneaks into Vought and gets Compound B, and then she sees some documents on how dangerous V24 is. And going back to Black Noir, we get his cartoon history, and it continues, and we find out Edgar has a Soldier Boy replacement that can also fly, and then we see like what we saw in the flashbacks with that CIA lady is very different to exactly what happened in real life, because there was an explosion, but what the CIA lady only saw was from her perspective, and we kind of assumed it had an effect on everyone else, but that wasn't necessarily the case. They used this sort of ambush by the Russians, the payback team, to get at Soldier Boy. And we see through the cartoon that Soldier Boy was the person, not the explosion, but Soldier Boy was the person who fucked up Black Noir. You know, he fries his face on some hot plate or something like that, and then basically cracks his skull with his shield, and that's how Black Noir ended up being the way he is now. But still, like the rest of Payback are able to stop Soldier Boy. They gas him or whatever, and they send him off to the Russians. So that's really what happened to Black Noir. It was Soldier Boy all along who fucked him up, not the explosions or shit like that. And in a way, Black Noir doesn't really ever get bettered by many people, but because Soldier Boy did, that's why he's kind of scared of him. I also, regarding Black Noir, I do feel he's dead next episode. I think there's so much in this, so much involved with Black Noir now in this episode that I think that he's going to be dead. I think he's going to be the sacrificial lamb. You know, the shock value shock, or who's going to die? Someone's going to die in the season. I think it's Noir.
Yeah, I agree.
So, Mother's Milk confronts Todd about Homelander, and like a typical Trump supporter, he's brainwashed and deluded. And Mother's Milk tells Todd that you're not my daughter's father. And then Todd says, "Well, somebody has to." And then Mother's Milk fucking knocks him out.
Good job, man. I'm right there with him. Listen, that fucking asshole. Like Todd was
some of that.
Yeah, Todd was annoying at first, but man, I'm glad Mother's Milk knocked his ass out because I mean, ooh.
Soldier Boy and Huey are in Mindstorm's shed, and they see him hiding through the reflection of mirrors. And then Huey uses his opportunity to teleport Mindstorm to Butcher's location, and he wants Mindstorm to revive him, and he kind of appeals to Mindstorm's humanity. He then offers to teleport Mindstorm wherever he wants to escape Soldier Boy for good. In Butcher's mind, young Billy escapes the home. He basically leaves home, leaving his younger brother with their abusive father. Billy's now starting to sound like his dad when leaving Lenny, calling him a puff and stuff like that. Lenny's at his wit's end, and he cannot take his dad's abuse anymore. He's getting beaten up every day, and he gets a gun and blows his brains out, telling Butcher it's his fault and all the people he loves ends up getting killed. I just want to add that, first of all, those two kids can't do a fucking English accent to save their fucking lives. Secondly, the house they looked in looked so fucking American. You know what I mean?
Even the principal's office, the headmaster's office looked so American.
Yeah, everything looked American. Like, there's all this wooden skirting and shit like that. What the fuck? That's not a British fucking home. You know what I mean? Not at all. You know, you got all the Charlton Athletic and West Ham United. Like, no, you don't support both teams. You know, it's like, fuck.
Yeah, we don't have closets.
Yeah.
We've got a couple, that's it.
Honestly, I was really disappointed with the look of their home.
Yeah.
Like, you can't find a more British looking home, for fuck's sake. Go to Boston.
I was going to say, just go to Boston.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, Butcher wakes up and before he can teleport Mindstorm, Soldier Boy is already caught up with them, and he throws a dagger in Mindstorm's eye. He then covers Mindstorm's face, and Mindstorm tells him something, which is kind of out of hearing range of Butcher and Huey. And then Soldier Boy ends up killing Mindstorm with the shield, kind of John Walker style from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So Starlight calls Butcher about how bad V24 is, and it causes legions in your brain. It will fucking kill you. It'll turn your brain into mush. Butcher, this is the thing about people not learning anything. Butcher's had that whole moment with his life, with his, not being looking after his brother and leaving his brother with his father and shit like that. Huey's become like his surrogate little brother now. And instead of maybe helping Huey by saying no longer taking the Compound V, he tells Huey, yeah, we need to get more fucking Compound V. Even though Huey's maybe a dose or two away from killing himself. So...
but again, that's kind of what I like about this, is like nobody fucking learns.
Yeah, which is what I like about it as
well. Keep retreading the same like idiot mistakes.
Yeah, it's very refreshing like that. They just don't fucking learn. I mean, Butcher's not as bad as his dad, but he's just as careless. Anyway, so Starlight gives Compound V to Kimiko, and then says she'll save Huey even if Huey doesn't want to be saved. And then Frenchie injects the Compound V into Kimiko, and her wounds start healing, and she's back to her old self. The paper Homelander got, now this is just a guess, by the way, but if I'm wrong, then correct me. The paper Homelander got from Newman earlier, I think, is the address of his son. Is that correct?
Probably.
Is where his son's staying?
Probably, yeah.
We saw an address on that paper, so that's just my guess. And then Soldier Boy ends up calling Homelander and tells him that back in 81 he jerked off into a cup and stuff like that, and not realizing what he was doing.
He jacked off into a cup.
Oh, in 81. Yeah. Okay, thank you. And
got to get the chronological timeline right.
Yeah. Well, he basically said that if he knew that his son was going to take over from him, he would have gladly stepped down and let him take the reins, because what father wouldn't want to do that for their son? But he was basically telling Homelander, I am your father, Darth Vader style. And then boom, that was our cliffhanger, and that's how the episode ends. Very interesting now what's going to happen now, because it was hard enough for the boys just to try and take down Homelander, but now they've got Homelander and Homelander's
here's the thing though. Will Homelander's ego allow him to kind of share the space with his father? Because he couldn't best him, he's still not going to let that slide. He's still going to want to get his revenge, and he's such a megalomaniac that I don't know if they'll team up, or at least he'll get him into a position. Go on, Cheeto.
No, I'm 100% agreeing with you, and where this is going is because Soldier Boy's such a epic dickhead that he's also going to say belittling things to Homelander. That's going to set Homelander off.
Yeah.
And it's going to wind up in a fight between these two anyway. So why make them father and son? Why not just make them team up and do it that way? But as I said, the whole father-son thing, it seems like a tie for them together.
It's a bit too soap opera.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you are the father. Like all they needed were like the zooming scenes.
And Marrow, what's his name, comes out from the side with a piece of paper.
Oh, Murray. You are the father. God, Maury Povich.
Maury Povich, thank you.
For me, it's just going to be interesting to see how they wrap up this season, because with every season end, knowing that there's going to be a season 4, and considering
they start shooting in August.
Yeah, and considering how much Compound V has already been taken by some of the boys, like, what's going to happen here? And who's going to be the sacrificial lamb as well? Is it Black Noir? Is it Queen Maeve? Go on.
Oh, I thought you meant like on the boys' side, like whether Butcher or Huey's going to bite the big one. And honestly, I feel like Starlight's going to come into that, and I feel like she's going to burn the Temp V lesions or whatever out of him. It'll be super painful, but she's going to kind of burn out the Temp V or something like that. That's how I see it going. Like, that she's the key to saving Huey and Butcher, and now kind of like Butcher's kind of in Starlight's debt because basically she saved him or something. I don't know. I mean, that's how when I saw that, that's how I'm like, oh yeah, this is definitely going the way of Starlight saving Huey and Butcher, or at least Huey. I doubt Carl Urban's not coming back. I highly doubt.
No, we know he's definitely in the next series.
Carl Urban's the biggest draw. Even Jack Quaid, man, he's a massive star now. He's not in the shadow of his parents anymore. He's making good quality stuff. He's been in Scream. He's been in this. He's been in
Lower Decks.
He's making it. I love Jack Quaid, by the way.
Jack Quaid's great.
Jack Quaid is fucking great.
And let me reiterate what I've always said about the boys. There are good actors. It is a looking and well produced show. The writing and the shock bait that this show is, it baffles.
This is the new Game of Thrones. This is without doubt.
It's fine. It's not a problem. Yeah.
This is the new. I wrote this on Twitter, on Facebook the other day, and it got me a lot of likes, which made me happy with my comment. But this is the new Game of Thrones. This is the must-see, must-watch show that everyone's talking about right now.
Yeah, this and Stranger Things.
I'm glad we could vindicate you, Zam, with our likes.
Yeah,
there's three. The thing is, at the moment, there's 3 massive shows, and that is this, Umbrella Academy, and Stranger Things. They're the ones that are causing the bigger buzz on the internet. And
and 2 out of the 3 are ending, aren't they?
Stranger Things has another season. Umbrella Academy apparently might have another season. They never officially said it was the last.
I thought they said that.
So did I, but no.
I thought Umbrella and Stranger were all on last seasons this year.
No, Stranger's doing another one. I thought it was the end, but they're doing another one because it's so massively popular that they're just going to do another one, and they're thinking to take it maybe a few years into the future when they do come back to it. Umbrella Academy, I'm actually surprised that there's been no it's not ending, and I don't think they will end it because given Netflix situation, it's number 1 at the moment on most viewed, especially for the UK market. It knocked off Stranger Things, so it shows you that
Umbrella Academy did.
Yeah, Umbrella Academy did. Yeah. I don't know if you ever watched it.
Oh yeah, I've watched both. I haven't watched the new one yet. I'm not invested in it, but as you guys are. But I plan on watching it. And honestly, controversial take. I think Umbrella Academy is much better than The Boys. Just saying.
Well, I love it. I love it just as much as The Boys. So
I like Umbrella Academy better than The Boys. I only watch The Boys because of you guys.
This is one of the shows.
I love you guys.
Thanks, mate. We love you too. This is the one show that is way better than the comic, because the Umbrella Academy comic was rubbish.
Oh,
yeah.
I've never read the comic.
Oh, it's terrible.
Cool.
Terrible. So I'm surprised they made a show out of it, but the premise was fantastic. So yeah.
Well, I'm very happy to know there is a season 4. It's gonna be interesting to see how they tie everything up at the end next week.
Don't spoil anything for Stranger Things for me. I haven't watched it yet.
No. I finished watching it. I haven't. I won't say a thing about Stranger Things.
Thank you, mate.
But I'm talking about The Boys here. I just want to know what's going to happen next week. It's going to be very interesting. It'll be very interesting to see how they tie things up and what leads into next week as well. And
is next week the season finale?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was 10 episodes long.
No, 8.
Oh, actually, I actually missed something out. I must have skipped it in my play-by-play, but I skipped the part where Homelander catches Starlight before she exits the Vought.
Oh yeah,
and she basically, watching it a second time, Homelander doesn't really spill the beans that much. You think he spills the beans, is giving away everything, but when you realize that he hasn't really incriminated himself. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes next week as well, because there are you can show somebody who's got a lot of support, being the very terrible, callous person that they are, and they will still get support. You could show Homelander fucking destroying a fucking city and killing everyone and grabbing a child and ripping them in half and whatever. This child could be fucking blonde and blue-eyed and shit and doing that, and he will still have so much fucking support from his diehards.
I mean, it's 100% accurate to the kind of right-wing fanatics. It is. And I'm not just talking about the Trumpians. Anywhere in the world, here in the UK with Johnson, in Turkey with Erdogan, it doesn't matter where. It's very like it's one of the more realistic aspects, and I'm surprised the kind of the neckbeards haven't kind of had a hissy fit about it. But I guess it's so well masked in the superhero world that they're too dumb to put 2 and 2 together to kind of figure it out, and that's why they're just able to keep like pushing the envelope.
Aren't smart enough.
I know, shocker.
Well, for instance, like we had the Roe versus Wade case, and there are a lot of people.
Yeah, they're busy at the moment.
On the right who are very upset by these. The people I know who are Republicans or Trump supporters or whatever, but are women who are upset by this. But you know what? They're still going to fucking vote for Trump. They're still going to fucking vote Republican, even though it's the Republicans who have done this and they're very much upset by this. It doesn't matter. They're like. You can, even when
it doesn't matter. Exactly,
it just doesn't matter.
It's a cult of personality, and that's what matters.
It's like sports as well. Like, this is my team.
Yeah, sports.
I would vote for a Republican in a heartbeat if I was in America, if they offered the things I wanted. But I don't give a fuck. I genuinely don't give a fuck. As long as they give me what I want, as a candidate, that's all that matters, regardless of if they got a D or an R next to their fucking name. But unfortunately, for some people, it's Sorry, what are you going to say, Gio?
I was going to say, welcome to Political Strategies by Zamir.
Yeah, there you go, with your Jensen Ackles impression. But regardless of all of that, it's amazing how certain shows recently, like Orville and this, are like just nailing it with today's world, and our political landscapes. I'm loving it.
I'm not surprised. Sorry to interrupt you, Zam. I'm not surprised if the Orville is nailing it, because Seth MacFarlane is hot shit on politics. Like, he knows his stuff. So I'm not surprised if they're nailing it on that show.
Well, the most recent episode was to do with transitioning and stuff like that, child transitioning. And, but obviously it's to do with alien races and stuff like that. But you can see how it is very similar to what's happening in today's world.
Yeah, with Babylon 5, they did it with, it was like an attack on Jehovah's Witnesses about blood transfusion and all of that. And so, but again, this one was more to do with the alien races saying, our child's blood must be pure. It cannot have the blood of another on religious grounds and all that. And just like, they're talking about Jehovah's Witnesses in this. But yeah, the way they do it, you know, again, Straczynski, genius when he wants to. Sometimes it can be a bit naff.
I'm actually really gutted that tomorrow is the last episode, because honestly,
next week.
Next week is the last episode. Honestly, like the Disney Plus stuff we've been getting, it's kind of naff.
It's shit.
You know, it's really
shit.
naff. Like
Miss Marvel's dropped off as well. The last 2 episodes I've not enjoyed.
Yeah,
it's still a sweet show. Like it's still sweet, but it's just naff.
There's not enough shock. There's not enough shock in it for you.
No, it's just writing. The action's a bit silly in it. Like I prefer all the stuff that they're doing, talking about all the family dynamic, like that stuff. They're nailing it, you know.
Yeah, that's a lot of this.
Yeah,
like the first 3 episodes of Ms. Marvel, I'll agree with you. The first 3 episodes were really good, really interesting. I was really into it. There was enough tension to kind of keep me invested in that end of it, but yet there was still the fun family dynamic and all that. But now this like 3rd episode's like all wham bam, thank you, ma'am, riding motor scooters through the street, and I'm like, kind of don't want this anymore.
It's a new setting, new characters to kind of get used to, and there's only 2 episodes left.
Yeah.
So let's see. You know, I mean, I hope they kind of just show the Jinn in the next episode and all this kind of stuff, like because she's in the past and she's going to see her great grandmother and all this kind of stuff. So as long as the next episode's interesting, you can kind of let this one slide as a setup to this episode, but they're losing the audience, so they need to be careful. Let's hope
it's just becoming very generic. You know, all these shows, they're really fucking generic. Nothing that special anymore. The writing hasn't been that fabulous. You know, it's not that deep. You know, and I'm just getting
I've got a video coming out tomorrow. Plug that basically talks about what happened to Kenobi. And I said it in one of our reviews. I'm not going to spoil it here, but I said it in one of our reviews what my fears were about the show, and sadly it was right. And so I've got a video, but in the video I also talk about Disney Plus can do its thing. It's fine. We've got Amazon and Netflix producing way better stuff. So if Disney wants to go down the generic route and bore us to death with their products, that's fine. No, we'll just switch off from that and move on to
a degree, Ginger, because they're doing it with properties I give a fuck about. They're doing it with Marvel. They're doing it with Star Wars. I care about those properties.
Me too, but I'll happily abandon them if they're not going to be good. Like Andor, I don't care. I know what's going to happen in Andor. Again, when you watch the video and you say what somebody said, you're going to know where they're going to go with Andor in this. So it's just like, well, there's no fucking point in watching that bloody show then. Or any other show, if this is what this individual insists on with everything. So it's heartbreaking when it's a property that you like, but what are you going to do? You know, the best thing you can do is not watch it or give it any attention anymore.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean,
okay, so you...
go
ahead.
No. I just was going to say, just to follow up with Ginger, I mean, I am probably going to give Andor a shot, but I agree with you, like with the Star Wars stuff, like between Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, like Obi-Wan, I didn't even care about, like really. Like it was better than I thought it would be, but that's because, as we've said, you went in with high expectations and, you know, and you really were disappointed.
Yeah.
I went in with low expectations. I was like, meh, it's all right. But that's still really bad, you know? Like that's why I'm like, I want to give Andor a shot because I do want to see kind of that rebellion version of things. But you're right. Like if Andor is just shits the bed, then I'm kind of out of options with Star Wars. And I'm not as huge of a Star Wars fan as any of you guys are. I like Star Wars, but I'm more of a not Jedi person. So it's like, you know, when these things come, like, you know, when a show like Andor comes along and it shits the bed, like Andor's probably going to be my Kenobi. Like as excited as Ginger was for Kenobi,
they'll shoehorn a Jedi in there somehow, man. Trust me.
I mean, look, like Andor, I was also excited about because I like Rogue One is a masterpiece.
Masterpiece.
And so I want more of that. I want more of the rebellion and all that. And you're right. I don't want the fucking Jedi in this. They're gone. Go away. You know, let's have everyone else kind of share the limelight. But I just given knowing what I know now, it's just I know where they're going to go with this, and it's just not going to be. I mean, look at the fucking trailer for Andor. there was no aliens in there.
Yeah, that's what scares me too. Is that there was no originality. Maybe they're still working on the CGI with aliens. Maybe that's my only saving.
I hope so.
Not this late stage in the game.
But it's
late.
Honestly. I was going to say it's late.
Yeah,
also, I was watching. So okay, I want to make something clear here. Okay, I said it in Twitter the other day because I saw this lesbian couple. Let's be honest, lesbian couple say it on a stream. They go, Disney is appealing to a demographic that they don't know which demographic it is, but what they are appealing to is white liberal guilt. And I thought that hits a nail on the fucking head. Because they think they're appealing to a certain demographic, but they're not. What they're trying to do is make white liberals feel better about themselves that they're appealing to this demographic. And the people watching are like, but this is garbage. This is to the detriment of telling a good story. And I just thought, thank you. The demographic, this is where you need people in that demographic to speak out against this. This is now a female author, a lesbian couple, and another woman who I follow, Tara Mooney, who have all spoken out against Disney's abysmal just track record on basically writing women and its demographic targets. It doesn't know what it wants.
Yeah, they're very hypocritical within their own company and how they treat their staff and their fucking in their fucking theme parks and stuff like that. And yeah, when they put them in these particular products as well, I don't want to necessarily shoehorning, but what they're giving us with these people in it, whether it be ethnic minorities like myself, I'm an ethnic minority regarding being in America and stuff like that, but gay people, all of that, is that they're giving us shit, like make it good, make it really fucking good. Look where Ms. Marvel's going. They're doing the first fucking Pakistani superhero, and it's terrible. It's going that way, unfortunately. And I'm not surprised. They've done it with Moon Knight as well. Jewish superhero. It's fucking terrible. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing is like with Ms. Marvel, if you take all of the Pakistani things out of it, it makes it so much more less interesting. That's the things that make it interesting, and it's like
I agree
around that. Not
but the cultural aspects are far more interesting than the superhero sides.
That's what I'm saying.
The moment they start, I can sometimes forget that I'm watching a superhero show until they have to go all superhero-y. But it just feels like one of those regular teen dramas until she has to get a fucking bracelet on and stuff like that. And I find the teen drama aspect to be far more interesting. I can watch stuff which is not necessarily catered for me, like things like Sex and the City and stuff like that, which I've always enjoyed every time.
The characters are good.
Yeah.
Like Sex and the City was fascinatingly good fun to watch. The L Word was a lot of fun to watch because the characters were good. They were very well written, and I'm not the demographic. Though for the L Word, I could argue maybe I am because it's lesbians, but
the Golden Girls, for fuck's sake, 4 old women.
Golden Girls, legendary.
How can someone like me appreciate that? But I do. You can watch stuff with different demographics of people, whether it be gay, straight, fucking white or not, and it just has to be fucking good. It just has to be fucking good, at the end of the day. Make it fucking good, and that's all that fucking matters.
But and the thing is as well, the key to writing good characters and good story is do not make what the person's sexuality or gender identity is the core of who they are. You can have situations surrounding that individual that play into that, but if that's their only identity, you don't make them interesting. What you're trying to do is you're trying to shove something down a throat without making it interesting. And this is the problem as well.
Agree.
We have that. And there was a guy, a writer for Marvel Comics, who's bringing in like someone from the Spider-Verse who's gay, but the writer said, this doesn't define his character. He's just gay. What defines his character is the situations he's in, the battles that he fights, and that's it. I don't want none of this because it goes, that's just bad writing. I thought, spot on.
Look, Star Trek Discovery did that well with Culber and
I was just thinking that.
And Stamets, but there is a difference though. There is a difference because it's set in the future where people don't give a fuck. Unfortunately, though, Ginge, in this day, if we're doing stuff on the present day, you are still going to come across neckbeards who do give a fuck that somebody's gay, or who do give a fuck that somebody's an ethnic minority and stuff like that. No, and that might play into certain scenarios.
No, but that's what I mean. if it plays into a certain scenario, I get it, but don't have the character have it like that's all they do and talk about, and they do this and they can't do that. Like it becomes a thing that draws away from, say, what they are as a person in terms of their abilities, in terms of their friendships, in terms of how they handle situations and all this kind of stuff. Because if you just make it about the one thing, then they're just not interested, you know. And I'm not. This isn't just me saying this. This is other writers that say this stuff, and writers from the demographic. You know,
it is a balance, though. It's easier said than done sometimes, because to get that balance right on paper, it might come across one way. On
I
screen,
disagree. It's very easy. It's very easy to do. It just the problem we have at the moment is the pandering to white liberal guilt. That's the problem we have, and this is why you're having these characters that are so bland and one-dimensional, because they're being defined by one characteristic. Whereas every other person on this planet is defined by many characteristics and many flaws and many situations. And this is look, I know this stuff because I've done my writing course. I know my stuff. All right. And this is what they tell us. Don't make your characters one-dimensional. Make them interested, multifaceted. Make it true to life. You didn't go through life coasting on one personality. You've had to change and adapt or change others around you and influence others around you because of who you are and all this kind of stuff. It's just basic knowledge.
So do you think there's shows like, you know, in order to incorporate what you said, do you think that shows like Ms. Marvel and stuff needs to be more than 6 episodes? Or can that all be done in 6 episodes?
Ms. Marvel can be done in 6 episodes. Where Ms. Marvel is lacking is the action. You know, the action side of it and that side of it is just not interesting enough. You know,
it's not.
We've already established her character within the first 2 episodes. They did a really good job of understanding her culture and the situations that she's in. We did that in the first 2 episodes, and they did it really, really well. But what they now are failing to do is make the action more interesting and the kind of plot interesting.
And I agree with you to a point, but it also feels like the action at this point after episode 2 is very forced.
Yeah, there's that too. Yeah.
Like, I kind of wish that I said in the beginning of Ms. Marvel, I didn't want there to be like a super villain. I just want her to get these powers, discover these powers, figure them out. I didn't need, you know, I don't need some organization going after, like, I don't need some Jinn organization going after, or not organization, but like clandestine people going after her and everything. Like, why can't there just be a ground level? She's stopping like robbery. She's stopping like, saving people's lives, saving kittens, but also dealing with at-home things with her parents and sneaking out and all these other things.
Exactly. And then it doesn't get to the point, and then you could have it where it gets to the point where she goes to Pakistan to kind of learn more about the history of all of this thing, but you don't need people chasing her to get there. When she gets there, then it unlocks this kind of different world of holy shit and moving into the past. That you could have done it that way, but I agree, it should have just been a street level thing, no massive villain, maybe a crime boss or something like that.
Well, we talked about the Tracksuit Mafia maybe making
or the Tracksuit Mafia being in it. Yeah.
No, but you see, what I want is that now we've had a plethora of fucking television shows from Marvel. You know, it's like now she's in the past. I want the fucking TVA to come in. You know, I don't like the fact that we have all these different shows and they're not crossing over in any capacity whatsoever. And I think it's very important that you do some of that. TVA was established last year. She's back in time. Maybe she's not supposed to be back in time. They're gonna like come in.
Are we sure she's not like hallucinating in the bangle or something like that?
Or if I mean, I'm just saying, if whatever it may be,
no, I agree with Sam.
It might be a paradox. It might be a paradox as well. She's supposed to do what she's supposed to do, because like they mentioned about the trailer stars and stuff like that, and somebody leading the way and all of that. It could be her all along, but nevertheless, I want to see. I don't want this. We're having this show, and we're having this show, and we're having this show. I want shit from that show to collide with shit from this show. You know, like that's what it needs to be done. You know, like stop crossing over the shows.
But have it also with Loki, they kind of broke the timeline as well. So would it be more difficult to kind of track what she's doing now as well? So there's always that element as well.
Well, but the TVA is still around.
I know, but maybe they're battling with the kind of fractured timeline unless it's a TVA from the 1940. When was it? 47 or 48 partition?
Well, there's 42, wasn't it? No, just after 42.
No,
I don't know.
It was after that. No, it was after the Second World War. It was like 48.
It was 48, I want to say.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm just going by what happened in the flashback scene in episode 3.
Oh, we're not talking Loki. We're talking Miss Marvel. I'm like confused. I'm like, what are you guys talking about?
Yeah, no. We're talking Miss Marvel now.
Okay.
About partition, but we don't know. Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to see the TVA.
And the real only crossover we've gotten is Yelena Belova in Hawkeye, like that, and that's from a movie to a show.
Yeah.
What else have we really seen? Nothing. I think one of the.
Well, we got Monica Rambeau in WandaVision. She was in.
Yeah, but she still hasn't shown up in the Marvel.
And we got Randall Park's character as well from Ant-Man in WandaVision as well.
Okay, so we got one, that's 2. I still Monica Rambeau. Well, okay, no, you're right, because she was a kid in Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one show crossing over. That's 2 shows crossing over. WandaVision had a couple, and then
Hulk will obviously be
Hawkeye.
She-Hulk, but that's kind of like, there's a correlation there.
Oh yeah, when's that coming out? That's coming out soon, isn't it?
50
August.
days, 30 days, I think. Hold on.
Shit! Fucking hell.
I know, I got it on my tracking app. It's what I use to track all you guys, find out where you're at.
Oh, yeah.
So I just saw this one video from this one particular guy who mentioned how naff like the stuff from Disney Plus is, and I thought, you know what, you're absolutely fucking right.
Yeah.
And I want it to be good. I want everything I fucking watch to be good.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like, the Disney Plus stuff is like, the more you think about it, the more it's like, don't give me fucking Daredevil. I don't want Daredevil. They're gonna ruin Daredevil. Don't give me Luke Cage.
I wouldn't mind him maybe showing up in the movies, but even then, if he shows up in like the Spider-Man movie,
shit.
Yeah, I don't know if I want them to do a Daredevil show. I really don't know.
I don't.
And I know Charlie Cox is like, oh, you can do a PG-13, and I'm like, but do we want you to though?
We don't want you to, and he's probably just going to get sidelined by Karen anyway. She'll be like a martial arts expert, and Dewey's suddenly black. So this is probably what would happen in the Disneyverse.
I'm just worried. We've already seen like R-rated stuff anyway, but prior to Disney taking over Marvel, and we know what Blade's like, and I think it's going to be terrible. Regardless of Mahershala Ali being a good actor, I think it's going to be absolutely fucking shit. When it does fucking happen.
And the more you think about Phase 4, the more you're like, it's really directionless at the moment. Like, really,
it needed to end the game.
It's more of a just chuck out a load of characters because we can. Because to be fair to Disney, the way I see it is, once they get to F4 and X-Men, that's it. Nobody's going to give a fuck about what any new character they bring out from there, unless they're tied to the X-Men. Then nobody's going to care, because if you bring out someone like even Wonder Man after the fact of F4 and X-Men, no one's going to fucking care about that. Like, we've got Echo coming out. Who the hell wants to watch Echo?
Yeah, Echo's probably going to be their introduction with Daredevil and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I don't know. They've already said that Charlie Cox is supposed to come back in that, and obviously he's supposed to make an appearance in She-Hulk. And I'm like,
yeah, Eccles was my original pick for either Cyclops or Gambit, because he could have played either character.
He would have played a good fucking Cyclops. Or Gambit.
I would have picked him for Cyclops. As I said, if you put Eccles as Cyclops, I would have been on board with a new X-Men First Class in the MCU. Like, with him as lead actor. Fuck Wolverine. We don't need Wolverine right now.
No, we don't need Wolverine. I'd rather not get Wolverine for a long time. But I tell you what, who'd make another good Cyclops or Gambit. If you watch The Man from Toronto, which is a terrible film, but there's a character in there called The Man from Miami, and he would be perfect as a Cyclops or Gambit.
You're talking that from Woody Harrelson?
Yeah.
And anything with what's his name? What's the name of that?
Kevin Hart.
I fucking hate Kevin Hart. I'm sorry. There's something about him that makes me. He irritates me.
He just plays the same character.
Yeah,
that's what it is in every movie.
Same character. He's done it to death.
I'm fed up of actors playing the same character all the fucking time, and he's not an actor.
That's a great choice, Gary. Booster Gold.
He's my choice for Booster Gold.
Great choice.
Yeah, Jensen Ackles would make a good Booster Gold as well.
You know, he could do a lot of fucking characters. You know,
he's great.
He could play Superman for fuck's sake.
Eccles could do anything.
I think it would be.
I've loved him since Dark Angel. Like,
it would be meta as hell if Jensen Ackles and the other guy from Supernatural came back and did Booster Gold and Blue Beetle. And I think that would be absolutely hilarious. I would love it. I would absolutely love it.
A lot of people are championing Anthony Starr to play the Reverse Flash.
I mean, that could work.
But he would be pretty much Homelander, his character of Homelander as the Reverse Flash. You know what I mean? Because they're very similar, in my opinion. They're fucking bit skits, bit nuts. And, well, it depends on which version of the Reverse Flash you play. But if you played Earbud Fawn, for instance, he would be very much like that. So, yeah. Okay, we've been yabbering on for a bit now. Anything more to add, fellas? Anything at all?
Well, let's now talk about the DC universe. No, I'm kidding.
Considering I'm really unhappy with what Star Wars and Marvel are doing, I am very happy recently with what Star Trek's doing. It seems to be getting its shit together.
At least you've got that, yeah.
Yeah, you know, and as well as the Orville, as I said, so you can see when some shows are doing it right, and unfortunately some shows ain't. And I really do feel Disney are just using the reputation of Star Wars and Marvel just to churn out shit which is not very good.
Control V with all their programs. That's Disney. That's Disney to a T. They do it with all their Pixar and their Disney cartoons, and they're doing it now with the MCU and
the Pixar stuff used to be much watch. Pixar stuff used to be so must watch, and then they brought out Cars, and then it just kind of went downhill after that. You know,
it was better before. Who was the previous CEO of Disney? Not the current one, who's a prick.
Bob Iger?
Yeah, him. Before Iger, it was Pixar was good. When Iger came in, it was just sequel.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm trying to remember who that was before Iger.
I think it was Eisner.
That was a long time ago, though, wasn't it?
It was a long time ago, but
Iger's been in there was in there for 15 years, 20.
Yeah.
Something like that.
But it was after the Invincibles where Pixar just went downhill. There's not many good ones. I think it's like Up and that's about it.
Invincibles 2, Incredible.
I heard Invincibles 2 was really good.
I didn't mind that too much, but I didn't think Up was that great. By the way, I didn't like it that much. I wanted to, but it just didn't float my boat.
Honestly, Up hit everybody in the feels in the beginning, but then after that, I agree. Up was kind of just
towards the like from the middle onwards, it's like
yeah. But I think it hit good in the beginning, but after that, it was just like. I think you were still running on emotional fumes.
For me, Disney's best cartoon post all that is Tangled. Oh, I can love Tangled.
Tangled's my favorite.
Mine too.
Seen that.
Yeah. It's so funny,
and it's good.
So funny. It's ridiculously funny. Like the bar fight where she smacks the guy in the head. Oh, that killed me. Because we played a lot of Disney stuff at my old job because the students kind of like the Disney cartoons and all of that.
No, we know, Ginger. You just sit around watching Disney cartoons.
Oh, of course, yeah. But every time I put Tangled on, and every time I'd laugh at that scene where he gets a frying pan to the head and he doesn't even flinch. Every time it just made me cry with laughter. So,
See, there's another movie me and Ginger just absolutely adore together. I mean,
that's what we could do. We could sit here and talk about best Disney animated films and Disney Pixar stuff. We could do a thing on that if anyone wants in.
Yeah. All right, Zam, take us on home, man.
Okay. Well, Ginger, you can join us on Sunday for the. Ginger's kind of frozen a little bit. You can join us on Sunday for you're back now. You can join us on Sunday for talking about the finale of Stranger Things.
Myself
and Jose will be doing it.
Probably not. No.
Okay. Well, you'll be catching us back on the tube for that. We'll be having a discussion on that. It is right now on Netflix, so please, I recommend watching that. But myself and Jose will be on Sunday. We'll schedule a time soon enough. Subscribe to NerdTube and you'll know about that. Thank you, Mage. Thank you, Cheetos. Thank you, Greek, for joining us. And we'll see you guys next time. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.